right, so grab your ball. We're gonna begin sitting on the ball and then have your band just sitting next to you. All right, so as you come seated on your ball, just find your center. Really important to find your center because you want to feel balanced on this ball because it's an unstable surface. And then rest your hands onto your thighs. So today I thought it would be really good to work on something that I get tons and tons of comments / questions about, and that is, how do I improve my balance? Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be working on how can we improve our balance? And the answer is very simple: work on your balance, right? So we're going to place our hands onto our thighs, sit up nice and tall, close your eyes. So as you're sitting here on this ball, of course, it's a non-stable surface. So let's breathe in and out of your nose. And then when you take your vision out of the picture, now you're relying on other senses of your body to feel yourself on this unstable surface. So your proprioception, which is your muscles, your joints, your inner ear, right, your vestibular system. And then the vision is the third piece of the puzzle. So we're closing our eyes, so we're just relying on the other two pieces of the puzzle here. So just notice if you feel like little subtle shifts and little subtle movements because your body's trying to find that balance of it's sitting here on top of the ball. So we're just going to continue breathing in and out of your nose. And the breath is really important too. So just remember when you're balancing, just to stay really focused on your breath. So there's always a lot of focus happening in the breath, in the body, in the mind. Okay, so we're going to slowly open your eyes. And then as you open your eyes, just try to still stay tuned in to the other parts, right? So your inner ear, your vestibular system, as well as your proprioception, as well as your vision. It seems like when you open your eyes, it gets a little easier, correct? So when we do balancing postures, we always have what I call drishti, which means a focal point. And that just means a steady eye gaze in a certain place. You know, sometimes I'll tell you where to look, whether it's on the floor or straight ahead at your eye line or perhaps at the ceiling. But, you know, if you don't have that direction, like where I'm going to look, usually it's easier to look down at the floor, right? That's going to be your first point of where I'm going to look. It's not straight down. It's kind of like a downward at an angle, right? So you're going to kind of look forward and head down, maybe about 5 or 6 feet in front of you. And then just like a straight ahead gaze, that's like the second most easiest. And then looking up is actually harder, and closing your eyes is the most challenging when you're doing your balancing. So while we're sitting here, we're just going to do a little bit of practicing with eye gaze. So I'm just going to have you pick a place on the floor in front of you, and you're going to stare at that spot. Okay, so just find that spot, just breathe in and out of your nose, let your arms hang down by your side. We're going to inhale through the nose, and then as you exhale, we're just going to lift your right foot off the floor a couple of inches. So hold that steady gaze, and then you're going to set your foot down. Take another in-breath through the nose, hold your gaze, exhale, you're going to lift your left foot a couple inches off the floor, and then set it down. We're going to do one more on each side. Breathe in, exhale, pick up your foot, keep your steady gaze, set it down, and then one more on the left. Inhale through the nose, exhale, pick up, and release. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and just move in a circle. So just move your hips around in a circle. And while you're doing that, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about our core, right? So the core is also another important component of balancing. So I want you to make sure that you're always keeping your core nice and tight. Switch directions of your circles. And you know, the most important thing is we have our respiratory diaphragm, which is helping us with our breath, but also connected to the core. We have our pelvic floor, our transverse abdominis, rectus abdominis, and then your obliques. Okay, so those are the main core muscles, but also connected to our feet, up the inner thighs. So there's a lot of stuff that happens when we're balancing, right? Seated cat and cow, rounding and extending. And then the other really important component is our feet, right? So the feet that touch the floor, right? And then we really count on that sensations of our feet to help us balance as they touch the earth. And we have lots of nerves in our feet. We have lots of muscles in our feet, and they really do help us in the different ways that we press down into our feet, which we'll talk about when we're standing up. All right, inhale your arms up high, and exhale, arms down. We'll just do 2 more of those. Big breath in, exhale, breath out, and then last one, inhale, and exhale. And then the other important thing is our stabilizing muscles of our hips. Go ahead and pick up your band. And we'll be working on those throughout this practice today, just to kind of work on strengthening them. But they're going to be our hips, right? Their outer hip muscles, that'll be your glute medius, glute minimus, and glute maximus. We're going to place the band around your right foot. So you're going to stay really steady in your left leg. Abs are tight as you stretch this leg forward, and you're going to pull back onto your band. So you feel like you're activating your back muscles as well. And we're going to do flex and point. So you're going to try to push your toes towards the floor and then extend the toes up towards the sky. So you really need to stay like with a steady gaze, because even though you're just stretching your hamstring here, we're also balancing because we're on this ball. Okay, so core is tight, breathing. Steady gaze, flex and point one more time. And then you're going to hold your foot flexed, and we're going to slowly pull back with the arms. So you're going to hold it there and breathe. So keep pressing out through your foot, pulling back with the arms. And we're engaging the core, we're engaging our stabilizers too, and our upper body. So your back muscles also help us. Last breath. And then go ahead and bend your knee, and we're going to switch the feet. So we're going to put this band underneath of your left foot, sit up nice and tall, stretch the leg out. And then just hold your band nice and tight so you feel like there's a stretch happening in the back of your leg. Breathe in, and then we're going to slowly start to flex and point your foot here. As you're breathing in and out, keeping a steady gaze on the floor or perhaps straight ahead. So anytime you're balancing, if you're finding that steady gaze, or you're not looking around the room, you're not looking at something that's moving, right? Because that's going to throw you off as well. So there's a lot of focus that happens. Okay, last one of these. And then hold your foot flexed. We're going to pull those arms back and just hold it isometrically in this. And you're sitting up tall while we're doing it. Abs are going in. Good. Last breath. And then slowly bend the knee, and then you can take your band off of your foot. All right, so we're going to stand on up here. And you can either use your chair or your ball, just remembering that your ball is going to be an unstable surface here. And we're going to come to hands on the ball, feet underneath the hips. Okay, so we are going to be doing a balance. So if you feel like this is too difficult for you to do today, just use your chair so you have a stable surface, because we'll be picking up one leg at a time here. All right, so you're going to place your hands flat onto your ball, and your gaze is going to be ahead. So you're looking kind of not right at the ball, but slightly beyond the ball. We're going to take a breath in through the nose, and then as you exhale, you're lifting up your lower abdominal muscles. And then we're going to slowly pick up your right foot. So you're going to slide it back, and you're going to be up on your tippy toes, right? And then we're going to lift the leg up, a couple inches off the floor, lower it down. So I want you to really pay attention to your standing leg, pressing into the big toe mound, the outer edge of your foot, your heel, and lifting up your arch. One more up and down, and then set your foot down. We're going to bend the knees and just take a stretch, right? So reach your arms forward and stretch your hips back, and then pull it in. And again, set yourself up. So your hands are right on your shoulders, and your ankles and knees are under your hips. Find your gaze point, lift your lower belly, and then take the left leg back, and we're going to lift and lower. It's about 5 more, lifting and lowering. And notice if it's different on this side, right? If it feels difficult, if you feel like your weight is shifting a little bit more, right? It could just be your adductors, your abductors could be a little weak. And this might need you to strengthen a little more on that side. And then put your foot down. And then we're going to take that stretch again, reaching. and then pulling it in, standing up tall. All right, go ahead and set this aside for now. And we are going to use our block next. So we're going to stretch out the feet, because I always feel like that's super important, just to have our feet really open. So we'll start, we're going to have your block in front of you, and you're going to put your right toes on top of it, and your heel will be on the floor, and you can stagger your feet. So all you want to do is just kind of let your body kind of lean forward so you feel the stretch in the back of your legs, your calf muscle stretching, the bottom of your feet stretching. And I'm going to rock back, and we're going to rock forward. Just do a couple more of those. And then you're going to bring this on the same foot, you're going to put your toes on top of it. So we're just going to lift the heels up, and you're going to drop your heel down, right? So it's up, down, up, down. So we're stretching out the toes and the bottom of your foot, the fascia on the bottom of your foot, your plantar fascia. And then just one more of those. And then we'll switch. So first you're going to start with your toes up on the block, heel on the floor, and you're going to lean into it, lean away from it. Just one more. And then put your toes on top of it, lift your heel up as high as you can get it, then drop it down. So you can even get your heel to the floor, that's great. If not, don't worry about it. Just work within your range. So there's no judgment here, just noticing what you feel in your legs. Good, one more of these. And then step off. And then we're just gonna shake out the legs. All right, grab your band again. And we're gonna learn about how the pressing down of your foot really helps us with balance. Okay? So we're gonna step on top of the band with your right foot, and you're gonna hold the band in your right hand, right? So you're standing up nice and tall, and I want you to press equally into both of your legs and your feet. But take a deep breath in as you exhale, just relax the shoulders. So first we're gonna press down into the foot that has the band around it, but I want you to pull up. So you're trying to unroot your foot, but you're gonna keep pressing down even more. And on the opposite leg, we're picking this foot up, right? So we're just by pressing down with this foot and trying to pull up, you're activating your stabilizing muscles and your core, right? So find your steady gaze either at the floor or perhaps straight ahead. And when you're ready, you're just gonna float your left foot up. So you're gonna try to just bend your knee, bring it up, and tap the floor, bring it down. So you're pulling up with your right hand, pressing down with your right foot as you're lifting and lowering your left leg up and down. Up and down. Two more. And then set your foot down. Take off your band, shake it out a little bit. And then we're gonna switch sides. So you're gonna place it underneath your left leg. And again, we're grounding, we're rooting, we're pulling up, trying to unroot, but the more we're trying to pull up, we're pressing down, engaging your core muscles. Stand up tall, find your gaze, breathe and lift. So bending and tapping, lifting and lowering. So notice your foot there, and does it start to wiggle a little bit, right? So trying to become unrooted, right? So keep pressing down into it. You're gonna feel your hips engaging, your outer hip muscles, your glute medius. Last one, up and down, and then go ahead and release it. And then just give your legs a little shake out. All right, so we're gonna come to the wall, or you can use your chair, doesn't matter which one. And we're just gonna use like some support for your legs. So we're gonna work on our outer thigh muscles. So pressing down into whatever foot is closest to the wall is what you're going to be grounding through. And again, lifting up and breathing. And we're going to take the leg out to the side. And we're going to slowly move out and tap, out and tap. So now we are working on our abductor muscles here, our outer thigh muscles, as we take the leg out and in. And we're just doing a little bit of strengthening here just because we really rely on these muscles a lot and are balancing. And then we're going to take the leg forward and back. forward, and back. One more forward, one more back. Set your foot down, shake out your legs, and just turn around for the other side. Same thing, we're standing up tall in our mountain pose, still connecting equally into both of your hips, all the way down to your feet. And you can hold on to the wall or your chair, stand up really tall, and we're gonna lift up. Send left leg reaches, we'll do it out first, out to the side, pull it back in. And then try not to lean. So notice if you tend to lean more onto your standing leg, right? So that means you're just kind of moving closer to your wall or moving away from your from your leg that's moving. And then see if you can activate those muscles a little bit more so you can stand upright, and then we'll take leg forward and back. So this is just you learning about your body and its tendencies, right? So it's not judging, it's just, okay, yeah, I do notice that. And now I know that because I lean more on this side, that I may need to work a little harder in strengthening that hip, right? And that's all it needs. All right, last one. And we all have it, trust me, I have it, we all have it. It's being human, right? That's normal. And it's just information that you can just use for your own practice, right? Just to make things easier for yourself as you come into your yoga practice or whatever you're doing in life. Just honestly, just life in itself, just learning how to balance is super important. Grab your yoga block, and we're gonna do some what I call transitional movements. And transitional movements are usually ones that we do them in yoga, but you do these in life too. That's even going up and down the steps, carrying your groceries, right? Walking from the grocery store to your car and putting things in your car. So the whole time you're picking up things and putting them in your trunk, all these are movements that we do that are functional that we can sometimes get off balance on. So let's go ahead and put the block to the outside of your left foot. We're gonna stand up nice and tall, and we're gonna go into chair pose, right? So we're gonna reach our hips back, and you can bring your hands into heart center, you can put your hands on your waist, it doesn't matter. We're gonna breathe, we're gonna find a drishti. And all you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be picking up the leg that's closest to your block. That's gonna be your left foot. So you're gonna lift it up. We're gonna tap and bring it back. And you're staying in your chair pose the whole time you're doing this. So really working as a standing leg as you're just doing this movement of tapping and bringing it back. And you will feel some fire happening in your thigh. That will be happening, just so you know. We're gonna do 2 more of these. Tap, return, and then we're gonna stand up nice and tall. And let's just take a big breath in and exhale. And if you want to, you can shake out your legs before we switch sides. So then you're gonna be sliding that block over to the outside of your right foot. Again, reconnecting to the earth, taking a breath, finding that steady gaze, your drishti point, and bend your knees to your chair pose. All right, so feel really connected in your standing leg. So if you know that this is your weaker side, then pay attention to these muscles here. And we're gonna tap, and tap, and tap. It's slow, there's no rush. I just accidentally kicked my block. And that's the other thing too. Do you have a hard time picking your foot up and getting it over the block, or you kick it by accident, right? That's a good thing to notice. I just did it twice. Okay, last one. And then press your feet down and stand up nice and tall. And then just shake out those legs. All right, so we're gonna continue working on some transitional movements. So I would suggest to you, if you want to use a chair for this, because I thought maybe if you feel off balance, at least you'll have something to hold on to in case you accidentally feel off balance, which is normal. And these are hard, these are not easy movements, right? So I just want you to know that. I put these in here today because I thought it's always something to have a challenge, right? Because everything can't always be easy. Life is not easy, and moving through life is not easy. So why should our practice be easy all the time? It should be challenging for us. All right, so we are going to be doing like lunges, a little bit of lunges. So if your knees are not happy today, just don't go as deep, right? Just do a small lunge. Right, so we're standing up in your mountain pose, and you have your chair if you need it. We're gonna take a breath in, And we're gonna start in chair pose. So we're gonna bend the knees, and then we're gonna be picking up your right leg. So we're doing these slow on purpose. You're gonna lift up your foot, and you're gonna slowly take it back. You're gonna land your toes, and then you're transferring your weight back so they're evenly distributed between your two legs, right? And then we're coming back, right? So you gotta bring your weight back onto your standing leg so you can pick up the back leg. You're bending it in and setting your foot down, and we're standing back up. And we're doing it again on the same leg, guys. So bend, take a breath, find your drisky, maybe hold the chair, pick up, take it back nice and slow, land your toes. Once your toes are landed, you're transferring your weight back. And then we're coming back here. So weight's gonna transfer back onto your standing leg. You're picking up the back leg, and we're setting it down. Legs straighten, mountain. Take a breath in. If you need to shake out, go ahead and do that. And we're doing one more on the side, okay? Chair, and shift weight first, pick up foot, slowly step it back, land the toes, balance the weight, hold it, shift it back, pick up, set your foot down, straighten your legs, shake them out. All right, we're gonna do the other side. I'm just gonna turn my chair so you can see other side. So we're standing in mountain pose, nice and strong in our legs. Back to that chair pose again. So remember, everything's different on the other side. It's a whole new clean slate. All right, so shift your weight, standing leg, pick it up, step it back, nice and slow. Land those toes, weight shifts back so it's equal between both of your feet, even though you have your heel lifted back there, still pressing into those toes. Shift your weight back to your standing leg and slowly bring it forward. Use your chair if you need to. Land your foot, stand up tall. Breath in, let it go. 2 more of these. Chair, shift weight, pick up foot, slowly send it back. Land your toes. Transfer weight to the back foot. Bring it back to the front. Pick up back foot, bend it, land it, straighten legs. Take a breath in, let it go. 1 more. Chair, and shift weight to standing leg, pick up, slowly step it back, land it, shift the weight, shift it back, bring the leg forward, land it, straighten, shake it out. So all this is doing is strengthening all those muscles that we need for our balance, right? So you should have felt a lot in your glutes, right? That should be like the number 1 place you're gonna feel it. And then probably you'll feel it in your thighs and perhaps your calves and your feet, but your stabilizing muscles are working a lot in that one. So I just wanted you to feel that. So we're gonna practice a little bit of tree pose, because I feel like tree pose is probably the most like pose we do in yoga, and it's also challenging for a lot of people. And it's not just because it's a balance, but also because it's also an external rotation of your hip. So we're gonna work on that first. So I want you to just stand in mountain pose, and we're gonna bend the right leg, and we're gonna turn it. So you're staying on your toes. We're gonna rotate the hip out, and you're gonna rotate it in. So we're doing external and internal rotation. So you're working your adductors as well as your abductors, right? So front and in thighs, out thighs. And you can also pick it up and do the same thing with the foot off the floor, where you're rotating out and in. And you might feel tight, right? So sometimes we're a lot tight in our adductors. So just be mindful of that. That means you just won't have to go that far open in your tree pose, right? So still standing up tall, we're gonna set our foot down for just a second, and we're gonna go into tree pose on this side. So connecting to the earth, spread your toes, lift up the lower belly, and we're gonna pick up the leg. So press down, just like pretend you have that band there, we're pressing down, we're floating that leg up. We're gonna turn into external rotation. And then just gently place your foot anywhere on your inner thigh. It can be down, it can be way up there, doesn't matter. So stand up tall, and you're pressing your foot into your leg and your leg into your foot. So what's creating is this isometric contraction between the foot and the standing leg. All right, and then you're lifting up. So you're zipping up the midline. So your pelvic floor muscles are activated. Your transverse abdominis all the way up the whole front line of your body. You should feel energy traveling up beyond the crown of your head. So you can take your arm up, out, here, and then find your drishti. So maybe it's on the floor, maybe it's straight ahead. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, last breath here. Release. And then just kind of march it out or kick it out, whatever. Just kind of stomp your feet, shake it all out. All right, and before we go to the other side, we're just gonna take a big stretch. Arms are gonna reach up high, and then we're gonna lift up both of your heels. So press down into your toes. Try to get your heels up really high here. And then as you exhale, slowly lower the heels down to the floor and release your arms. Okay. All right, so if you're using your chair, go ahead and switch sides. All right, so again, remember each side is different, so you're gonna have different results. Right, it could be better, it could be worse, doesn't matter because we're practicing and our body's learning about our bodies, right? So we're always a student of our own bodies, just remember that. All right, so feet connected and breath, right? So breathing in, breathing out. Your chair is there. If you want to use it, go ahead and hold on to it. And we're going to press really strongly into your standing leg and feel like that. You're lifting up from your arch, inner thigh to your pelvic floor and lower belly. And then we're floating this leg up. So we're going to pick it up, or you can leave it on the floor if you want to start there. And then we're going to do internal and external rotations. So you're turning your hip out, you're turning your hip in, noticing any sensations that you're feeling, either in your outer hips or inner thighs. You can stay here with your foot on the floor and you can pick it up, right? And do the same thing. And you're just feeling that sensation. So maybe you're much more open on the side or tighter, doesn't matter. You're going to just take what you need and breathe. All right, and then set your foot down. We're going to come into tree pose now. So grounding really strongly into your standing leg, and we're going to float that left leg up. We're going to turn it out and place your foot onto your inner leg. So it could be way up here, or it could be way down here. So just check your foot, make sure your toes are pointing down to the floor. The knee does not have to be pointing out to the side. It can be more at an angle. Mine is at more of a 45-degree angle. Breathe in, breathe out. Press your foot into your standing leg and standing leg into your foot. So you're creating that isometric contraction. Keep your belly lifted, keep your gaze ahead. Arm can be out, can be up, it can be on your waist. Doesn't matter, right? So you're just breathing. We're lengthening the entire spine. Get a couple more breaths. So holding it, you just want to focus on the breathing. And then we're going to release it and then just shake it out. All right. So your chair aside, and then go ahead and grab your ball again. And we'll do a little bit more work with the ball. So this time we're going to come down onto your stomach. And you can choose to do this at the wall if you don't want to do this on the ball. We're going to do some push-ups, but we're going to do them more from a stabilizing standpoint and working the upper body, because the upper body is really important too for our balancing. All right, so we're going to bring the ball in, or you're going to be at your wall and you're going to have your hands like this against the wall, or we're going to roll out onto the ball and you're going to have your hands underneath of your shoulders. So your legs, if you're on the ball, are not touching the floor, right? So you have the ability to move those legs. And if you're at the wall, just make sure you're able to come up onto your toes. So we're looking straight ahead, and we're going to hug those shoulder blades in. That means you're going to draw your shoulder blades so they're touching each other but not squeezing together. Take a breath in, and then you're going to bend your elbows. So your elbows are, if you're at the wall, they're going to point down towards the floor. If you're on the ball, they're pointing back towards your ball. So you're not going to be able to come as deep because they're not going wide, they're going down. And then you're pressing straight. You're going to feel this in your triceps a lot, okay, just so you know. So lower your chest, bend your elbows back. And if it doesn't feel good, change the position of your hands. So maybe your fingers are going to turn in slightly or out slightly. So I actually, if I turn my hands out, it makes it easier for me. Bend and straighten. Don't worry about coming low. just go to where you can feel it and straighten. We're gonna do one more of these because these are a lot harder, I think. And straighten. And then you can go ahead and relax here. You can stretch back, let your knees come down, and just take your arms and just kind of shake them out a little bit. And then we're going to come forward again, and we're going to come back to that position where we're supporting ourselves. So even while you're here on the ball, I want you to lift your navel up and extend your legs back. And we're going to turn our feet out, so we're pointing outside, and we're going to bring the heels to touch, and you're going to take them apart like this. If you're at the wall, you can just do some external rotation. So you put your legs in like that Pilates V, and you can just do little tiny like plie squats with this one. So working our inner thighs as you bring your heels together. So 2 more of those. Heels together and apart, together and apart. And then go ahead and stretch back. Come off the ball, you take a stretch here if you want to. Breathe in and out. And then just pull the ball in. All right, so the next thing we're going to work on is a warrior 3, which is why I was working on more of our leg stuff. And you can use your ball for this one. You can use the wall, or you can use the chair. Obviously, the hardest variation is going to be using the ball because it's unstable. And then I would say probably the chair, and then the wall would probably be the easiest one. So you have 3 different variations. I'm going to start out with the ball and share that variation. And then I'll go to the chair. All right, so hands are going to be on your surface, whether it's the wall, the ball, or the chair. And we're setting up our legs so that your hips and knees and ankles all align. And our gaze is going to be ahead of your ball. All right, so we're breathing in and out. I want you to connect to your left foot. So lifting up from your arch, you're grounding, and you're going to lighten up your right leg. Keep pressing down into your hands too. So your hands, your upper back muscles are active here, which is why I was doing that little work on the floor. And then we're going to extend the leg back. All right, so toes are on the floor, and we're going to lift our chest. And think cow pose. All right, so lift your chest, draw your shoulders back, and then see if you can get your foot to float off the floor. It doesn't have to come up very high. Tap it down. Do it again. Lift and lower. The idea is you want to try to lift from your inner thighs. So if you imagine that a string is tied to your inner thighs, your inseam of your pants, that is where you're lifting from. Because in Warrior 3, both our hips should be facing the floor. So it's not a turnout like this, right? The hips are staying down. So if you think a little bit more internal rotation of your inner thighs, then that's what you want. All right, just do 1 or 2 more of these. You will be feeling a lot in your standing leg and hip. And then let your foot come down. And then just take a stretch here. Pull it in, and then stand all the way up to mountain pose. Roll your shoulders out. Because it is a lot of work too with the upper body, especially when you're pressing down into the ball, right, or the chair. I'm going to show the chair from the other side, but if you are using the ball, feel free to stay with that. I'm just going to show just something different. All right, so again, hands are pressing down, and you're going to have your knees and ankles right underneath your hips, and we're going to engage our shoulders and upper back muscles, right, so feel that, plugging them in. Breathe in, press down through your standing leg, and letting slowly send that leg back. All right, so keep your gaze ahead, and we're lifting from the inseam of your pants, so lift and lower from there. No turn out of the hips, so hips are facing the floor. Breathe in as you lift. So when you lift, when you're breathing in, you're lengthening, lifting. Right, so you're opening up your chest. Keep drawing the shoulders back as that leg lifts up. So you want to think about your cow pose here. The last one. And then just bring your foot underneath of you. And then we're just going to slowly roll up as you press down into it. And then just roll your shoulders out, shake out the arms. All right, so we've done tree pose. And we've done the warrior 3. Okay, so the next one I'm going to work out is it's going to be the balancing half moon, which I feel like is the most challenging one not because you're lifting your leg up, but because it requires you to open your hip in this one. And that seems to be the most challenging thing for most people. And because, warrior two, your hips are facing down towards the floor. And then with your balancing half movement, one leg is facing in this direction and the other is rotated out. So where else do we do that but in our warrior posture, right? So think about your warrior two or your side angle or your triangle pose. So we're going to start there, and then I'm going to have you bring your chair in. So we're going to use that for an assist. Right, so we're going to start in warrior two, and you're going to have your toes lined up with the rim of your chair. And we're going to press down into both your legs equally. So your front leg is going to be bent. So this will be your left, your right, equally pressing down. Like this. And this one's challenging, but just be kind to yourself. Right, do what you can. All right, so open your arms out wide. We'll go into warrior two. Take a breath, lengthen the side body. Put your arms up a little higher. Deep breath in, exhale. And then we're going to place your left hand on the chair here. And we're going to send your right arm overhead. So we're in your extended side angle pose. Great. So pay attention to what's happening here in this hip. So notice that this hip is a little different orientation than this hip. This hip is kind of open and lifted. This is the position that you want to keep your hip in as you go into your balancing pose. So let's go a little closer to our chair, but don't change the shape of where your hips are. And you're going to bring your forearm down to the chair like this. And you're just kind of leaning in. And you're going to take your other arm and hold on to the back of your chair. All right, so you want to get yourself far enough from the chair that you can come in towards it as you lift your leg up. So as you lift your leg up, notice if your hip starts to turn inwards and then rotate it back out so you're in that shape of your warrior two and side angle pose. And then just lift it up a few inches and then set it down. You have the chair, you're kind of pulling your upper body in towards the chair as you lift your leg up. And then you're landing it back down. So up you go. And down. We're just going to do one more up. And then if you feel like you've got it really well, you just want to release that right arm. Maybe you're bringing it to your waist. And you're sending it up. Okay. And then we're going to come out of it nice and slow. And you're going to land back into your warrior two. And relax those arms down. All right, let's march it out, shake it out. I know it's a lot of work, and you probably feel a lot in your hips. Let's go the other side. And now this will be our last balance. We're almost done. So we're going to be tired after this one, right? All right, so let's go ahead and set up for warrior two. So you're turning your right foot out, and your knee and your shin are all spacing the chair, and your back leg, your back toes are turned in a little bit. So check in with your hips. So this hip is a little open. We'll pull back a little bit or rotate it this way. And hands on your hips. Let's float the arms out. Big breath in. Reach your arms up. So I want you to lengthen all the way up so your side body stays long here. And then as you exhale, bring your right hand down to the chair. And then we'll go into side angle pose. So keep stretching your left arm over. If you can, grab onto the back of the chair. If not, just let it reach. Okay, and then from here, we're going to lower your forearm down to the chair. It can either be this way or that way. So try it this way, so it's kind of wide across the seat. And then turn open so your chest turns, your hip turns. And then when you're ready, just shift your weight into your standing leg. And then you can straighten the leg that's the arm that's on the chair as you lift your leg up. And then bend it and lower your arm to the chair as you lower your foot. So lift, reach your upper body forward. So notice how closely your upper body comes to the back of the chair when you lift up. And then it moves away from it. So it moves closer as you lift. Further away as you lower. And then even if you're just here, tiny lifts. You're still building strength. You should feel this in your standing leg hip for sure. Check your abdominals. Are they turned on? Are you staying with your breath? And do you have a steady gaze and a quiet mind? Last one. And if you want to come all the way into it, I would just bring your hand all the way up so you're supporting your arm against the back of chair. And then you can just turn your chest, lengthen through your back leg, and then perhaps reach the arm. Okay, and then come out slow. Then that standing leg, come all the way back to warrior two. Relax those arms. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and finish up. Come back to our ball. Back to where we started, sitting on our ball. Right, have a seat. Roll your shoulders. Feet right underneath of your knees. Hands resting on your thighs. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. With your eyes closed, notice your body. With your legs, with your feet, with your hips, with your shoulders, your neck, and your head. Steady breath, steady mind, steady body. Let's inhale the arms up. Join your palms together. Bring them to your heart. Thank you so much for joining me today for our balance practice. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.